Hello and welcome back at Jazz Ahead, our digital edition 2021, here in Bremen, where we're getting ready for another European jazz meeting showcase from the great artist Kasia Pietrzko. I got to meet her here at Jazz Ahead in 2018, and you can see the video I did with her somewhere in the worldwide interweb, but you really can only see it because someone forgot to turn on the mic. That couldn't have been me, but it looks like a great interview, and I do remember us having a wonderful conversation. It was due to a connection that I made through Jazz Ahead at InJazz in Rotterdam with Sabina Tchaikovska of MoConnections.uk, who is now based in Oakland. She's working with Kasia, who's a wonderful piano player, an incredible artist. I remember that she once had the opportunity, she was being asked by Tomasz Janko to tour and play with her. They played one memorable gig, I heard, which turned out to be Tomasz Janko's last gig because he died soon after. Kasia has just released a new album with the wonderful title Ephemeral Pleasures, which I actually first heard about at the app and website Jazzed, because they are showing a video clip of her performing some of her new music at the NDR studios in Hamburg. Now she has put together something for us here at Jazz Ahead 2021, Kasia Pietrzko.
Hello everyone, we are Kasia Pietrzko Trio, Andrzej Święs on bass and Piotr Budniak on drums. We are playing especially for you from Warsaw and especially for you for Jazzahead. Thank you very much for your invitation, and now we are gonna play a few more songs. Thank you so much. That was a song called Dearest John, and it's from our second CD, Ephemeral Pleasures. And at the end, we are gonna play Dark Blue Intensity of Life. Once again, I would like to thank you very much for invitation, and hope to see you in real world without pandemic. Thank you very much.
From Warsaw to Jazzahead, one of the most promising young generation jazzmen from Poland. Kasia Pietrzko and her trio. Andrzej Święs on double bass, Piotr Budniak on drums, and of course Kasia Pietrzko, leader, pianist. Kasia Pietrzko was the last discovery of great Polish trumpet player Tomasz Stańko. Tomasz Stańko, we all about that. He had a great talent, great ability to discover young artists and to predict which of new jazz players will be leading the Polish jazz scene in the future. He was right in the case of Marcin Wasilewski, he was right in the case of Dominik Wania and Maciej Obara, and as we could today hear, he was also right in the case of Kasia Pietrzko. Kasiu, before I ask you very serious questions about the core of your music and the essence of your style, please tell us about the program that you presented. You mentioned that it was fragments from your last CD, Ephemeral Pleasures.
Yeah, Short Pleasures. We played 3 pieces from a second CD, and that was Dearest John, Dark Blue Intensity of Life, and Ephemeral Pleasures.
And that was new material also.
New material also. That was like little accent from third CD, and its new composition called Foggy Dreams.
Foggy Dreams, just Foggy Dream will be more revolution or evolution in your music?
I think evolution, because sometimes I'm a little bit shy to say that I am a revolution.
Revolutionist.
I'm a revolutionist, yeah.
Not only woman, but also revolutionists.
Yeah, so I think that third CD for sure will be evolution. We are practicing a lot with my band for now, so I think that it's gonna be something more fresh and something definitely new in third CD.
Although there is no trumpet in your band, correct me if I'm wrong, but I could hear the Tomasz Stańko sound in your music.
So I should say thank you, because Tomasz was always my one of the biggest inspirations. When I was teenager, Tomasz was playing in my hometown on festival, and I was on every concert. In Bielsko-Biała. So that was that pushed me really a lot. So I feel this music in myself, and also that was the biggest dreams to play with Tomasz. Yeah. Also.
We can hear his lyricism in your music. Melancholy, yeah, but so. You can also mix this with the energy and the very rhythmical attitude to the music.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to ask you about this moment that we are in now, the pandemic moment. How do you cope with this situation? Do you compose? Do you growing like an artist, or maybe you record this new material for CD?
I think for sure that I'm growing a little bit. I changed my life. I see new important things definitely in my life. I'm taking a rest finally, so I'm taking care of myself, of my family too. So I think that I needed this time for sure. Yeah, because now I have time to think about the music, not only to play the music and play concerts, but also to have more inspiration from my life. Exactly.
I heard that you are working on PhD also.
Yeah. I'm working with my PhD. It's hard thing for me, but it's PhD about Prokofiev, and like I'm gonna write a big suite, big composition inspired by Sergiusz Prokofiev.
Yeah, so fingers crossed about Prokofiev.
Thank you very much.
About the CD. Kasia Pietrzko, great pianist from Warsaw, from Poland, to Jazzahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Back here at Jazzahead, our all-digital version 2021. That was Kasia Pietrzko, soon to be Dr. Kasia Pietrzko from Poland, live more or less, pre-recorded from Warsaw for us here at Jazzahead. And as I mentioned before, I met Kasia here at Jazzahead 3 years ago. and sort of rediscovered her through an app that, yes, I must admit, I am also working for and I'm really excited about, called Jazzed. We were featuring one of the videos she'd recorded at NDR in Hamburg earlier this year through my colleague Chris Phillips in the UK, who's the head of content at Jazz. But now we're going live to the UK to one of the initiators of Jazzed, Jonathan Arendt. Jonathan, thank you for being with us. It must have been very nice what you said, but unfortunately I couldn't hear you. Are you still on mute by any chance?
I think I might. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
I was saying thank you for welcoming me, and it's so nice to be here after that beautiful music.
Yeah, Kasia is really, as I said, I sort of rediscovered her through Jazzed. And we should tell people a little bit about what we're trying to achieve and do with Jazzed. But maybe you can even tell me why and how it got started. I mean, it's not only you, it's also Frank Taubert and Marcel Eng, who sat together, I don't know, at Ronnie Scott's late at night and thought, why is there an app for getting a cab and whatnot, and why isn't there one for jazz? Maybe not.
Yeah, well, it totally, and it was the three of us, and it was late at night. But I think most importantly, as the world has progressed and we've gone digital, it became obvious that nobody was focusing on the music. Nobody was focusing on jazz, and it needs focus. It needs to be organized in a slightly different way than mass music streamers, and nobody was pulling together the music around with the artist at the center of the experience. So we had a vision to bring together audio, video, and editorial all in one place, so you could experience the whole thing and find your way around the music in the right way. And it was a big idea that requires big investment. And we started about 2 years ago, and we launched in February in the UK. And we launched with an iOS app and a web app. And it brought together audio, video, and articles: listen, watch, and read. And that was the idea about it.
It's quite unbelievable. I mean, I must admit that when Marcel Eng contacted me for the first time and told me about this is the first dedicated app for jazz, soul, and blues, I thought, you must be joking. Went into the App Store and found out he wasn't. He's not a man of many jokes, but he was quite serious about this. And as we've seen over the last months or a little over a year, it's people are liking it, and we have, I think, about 70,000 people who've already downloaded this app, which is an immense success because obviously we're in this very niche market, and as we were saying many times through this Jazz Ahead these couple of days, when someone has 10,000 followers on Instagram as a jazz trumpeter and complains about not gaining any more, he should probably look elsewhere musically. But it is working really, really well, and people are accepting this app and having it on their phone. We've sort of recently added the search possibilities, and it's still growing. I mean, jazz is a constant evolution, I feel, and there are even more things in the works for the very near future. I mean, we've pretty much started this new Jazz Live series last Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, it feels like we've been working on it for years and years and years, but we're very young. We're doing something technically relatively difficult. We're not available on all platforms. We're only in 2 countries, the UK and in Germany, we need to add many further countries. We need to get on all platforms. We have to make sure we're available everywhere. And we've had the challenge of launching into the face of COVID. Although we're all digital, we're new. And so we had to make sure that people were aware that we existed. And it's been amazing how many people have found us. We've reached out digitally to everybody, but we haven't been able to work with the whole live sector. And a whole part of our plan was to do that. We come from a background of working alongside live and putting on shows. And recently we launched in the UK with the Yusuf Days performance at XOYO. We launched in Germany with Niels Volker at the Bayerischer Hof. Excuse my pronunciation.
That was very good.
Thank you. And we've been trying to add on more live performance out of clubs, but putting stuff on ourselves. We've just started our new series of Jazz Live with Bill Lawrence at the Jazz Cafe on Friday, on International Jazz Day, and we've hosted Matty Klein at A-Train, and we've got our next Jazz Live performance on the 13th of May, which is Yaz Ahmed, and we have a whole load of more that are going to begin to roll. And we intend soon to be the place that one goes to get live performances from clubs from all over the world.
I mean, as we've been experiencing in sort of lockdown Germany, it's very, very hard to put on live shows these days. And fortunately, the situation in London is getting slightly better. I mean, obviously, it was possible to put this on Friday, and it will be possible to put on that show with Yaz Ahmed at the Jazz Cafe. But the clubs aren't open again, are they?
No, not yet. Another 16 days.
Wow, 16 and counting.
And counting. Yeah.
That really looks like light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
We've had, I think, people from 50 countries sort of digitally attend Jazz Ahead this year. And you mentioned before that obviously there are so many other markets out there for jazz. We have plans for Italy, for the US, for many other markets. But what people don't realize, of course, when they just use something on the internet, there are many contractual reasons, especially when it comes to music, where contracts change from one territory to the next, that make this harder than I and everybody else on the team would like it to be, I guess. And it's quite a challenge.
Yeah, and harder. Just there's more to do than even we thought, and we thought we knew what we were doing. But the simple fact is that we need to be fully licensed, and we need to work with the content holders in the right way, and that means that from the very beginning we went out to be globally licensed by the majors and the independents. And so we started, of course, with Sony, Warner, and Universal, and the larger independents. But it's still a work in progress, and it means that we're still adding on new rights holders for audio and video. And then each time we do that, when we look at a new country, we have to go through further contractual organisation. And so it's quite a mission to step forward. But we've got plans over the summer to see whether we can actually find a way of accelerating our process to go into other countries. But at the moment we're still only in the UK and Germany, and what a great place to be.
I tend to agree. Yes, absolutely. And like I said, this is obvious because I'm also working with you, but I've grown to really love having the app on my phone. And, not only on the phone, it's one click and you're on Apple TVs and all of that. So especially with the live shows, it's very easy to sort of really watch and hear them on a grand scale. And I'm really looking forward to this because, I mean, that's where this music is really, as we've seen these last couple of days too. And seeing that Bill Lawrence show at Jazz Cafe and Matty Klein at A-Train these days always, still brings a smile to my face because it's so great to be able to witness something being performed live, this music being performed live, and in such a good way. Well,
and I think we're learning how we're going to make that a constant part of the background to what we have. And I think there's a way that we can work with clubs that as they open up and start bringing people inside again. I think that hopefully we're going to be a platform that they can extend to and use us to reach out to a much wider area than they could ever do themselves. And that's part of our planning over the summer.
As a matter of fact, I mean, you couldn't know this, but the very camera that's filming me right now is one of those Sony cameras that we have plans for installing in clubs around the world, and then being able to remotely record all these concerts to make it as easy as possible for clubs to, spread this music. I mean, being in Germany, I'm really sort of naturally curious as to what is going on in the UK or in the US, and having access to that sort of, the click of a button is a dream come true.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, and I think that if our plans work out in the way that they're looking, and we carry on getting people using the platform in the way we are, we'll be able to put these two things together, and helping people equip their clubs and helping the clubs reach out further. I think it's going to be a very exciting move for us all. We can't taking a club who maybe has 100 or 200 people there and making that show available to a committed group of users must be something that we can do together.
I so agree. Thank you very much for taking the time out to do this on a Sunday and for telling us about jazz. Jonathan Arendt.
It's a pleasure being here, and I wish I could have been physically there and seen more of the music. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jonathan.